Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 40th episode of Sonic Talk. And just for a special occasion on our 40th episode, we decided to treat you by not having Alex Peel on the show today.
We couldn't find a third chair.
Right, so it's just going to be me and GX. We actually recorded this episode about 2 weeks ago, only to find Alex's Audacity, for some reason, stopped working halfway into the show, so it was a complete disaster, and we had to just stop it. Plus, my Skype recorder I was using before, our Skype kept dropping in and out, and so I ended up losing that audio as well, since everything was a disaster. So this time we're doing it on Google Hangouts live, and with me tonight is GX Echidna. How you doing, GX?
Hi, I have finished almost all of Dragon Ball Z.
The anime or the manga?
The anime. It's easier to have the anime running whenever you're doing something else in the background. It's much more difficult to accomplish that with manga.
Oh yeah, you tell me you like to have the background noise in there.
Yeah, it's very convenient because not many things happen in an episode of Dragon Ball, so it's very convenient to just have it going on in the background because I don't have to really care.
If you want to have some real fun, you ought to see the really old UK dub of one of the Dragon Ball Z movies. It's really, really horrible, but at the same time hilarious.
I mean, I'm not gonna say great things about the original Dragon Ball Z American dub by I forget what point Funimation actually picked that series up, but I mean like the voice actors that they have are all over that thing, and the one thing I was expecting about it was that it was going to be crazy and have intense, very prolonged fights, which it did. What I wasn't expecting is after the, I guess you would say one of the time skips whenever Gohan grows up, is that the series would just get real stupid. Like, original Dragon Ball stupid. Like, I wasn't necessarily expecting that, and I've been pretty pleased about that. Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb. Also, Gotenks might be the most irritating Shonen Jump character, and I'm including Naruto on that list.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Gotenks.
He is the 90s personified. So, what have you been up to?
Not a whole lot. I've just been mainly working and doing some overtime, thank God, because they were cutting my hours before. Now they're not giving me enough hours. They're having me work a half-hour overtime every day and having me come in 2 hours early. But in between all that, just last Wednesday night, I saw Shin Godzilla at the AMC theaters. Funimation put that out for a short, 2-week run, but it's been so successful. They're extending it to, I believe, the 26th or 29th of this month. Because they made $1.5 million, and they weren't expecting to make too much for it originally.
Good for them.
Yeah, it's out of all the Godzillas that are just like Godzilla rampaging through the city and the government and the people trying to decide what to do with them, this is probably the best one out of all those, and it's definitely the most terrifying Godzilla out of all of them as well. It's directed by, I don't know his name, he's the director of the Neon Genesis Evangelion series.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of political commentary to that, because basically when they first find out about him and he starts to arrive on land, he goes through several evolution forms, and first he's kind of this half fish, half Godzilla thing with lungs that have blood coming out of him, and he's rampaging through the little river area and knocking over the boats, and they're showing the Japanese government has to keep having these ceremonies and then having everybody meet up, discuss what to do. Then this guy has to get a permission, this guy then has to get permission from that guy, and then it goes up to the prime minister who finally has the final decision. And it just shows like all of the bureaucracy and red tape is just slowing everything down while this giant lizard is starting to rampage through the city.
I was about to say, that sounds like a very interesting movie of tracking the bureaucracy involved in a giant monster attack.
Yeah, it's pretty much that. I mean, it's very much the director criticizing the Japanese way of handling business, of making decisions. Nobody wants to take full responsibility. Everybody's got to have their own decision made up to this point. I mean, at one point they're about to attack him with helicopters with missiles on them, and there's like five steps before the Prime Minister gets approval. And then just as they're going to fire, some old grandpa and the kid are trying to cross the street below near where Godzilla is, so they have to hold it off. And even then, they have to, before they can give the command to either fire or hold their fire, they have to go through another 5 or 6 steps.
Press 1 if you want to see Calculon double-check his taxes.
Yeah, and they do end up having like this other group of scientists who get to work independently of the government to solve the problem of Godzilla. And about the halfway point is when like shit just gets real. They do a new version of his atomic fire. It's like his final form, so to speak. And it's the scariest, most devastating effect he's ever shown, and the whole thing is just absolutely amazing. The very final image is one that is both really haunting and kind of scary, and helps set up for a sequel down the line. I'd really recommend it if you want to see it and check it out. The one thing that might be a problem is my brother wanted to see the screen up close because he likes to see Godzilla in huge form. The problem is there is a ton of subtitles. I mean, it's just all subtitles nonstop, including top ones to tell you where they're at in Japan or Tokyo at the time. So you need to like stay in the middle or back seats just to get through all that, because there is nothing but a ton of subtitles. I've never been so sick of reading subtitles in a Japanese film than I have been in this one.
A lot of practical effects?
Some. I think him in his like weird fish lizard form at the beginning when he's going down the river was a man in suit. It looked a little rubbery, but I still thought it was a better effect when we got to CGI, because when he got to CGI as full Godzilla, he was very stiff and barely moved. I mean,
I'm sorry, I must have lost you for a second.
He fully. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I for some reason you went completely silent on me for a while.
Oh, okay. I hope that doesn't come out on the chat, but no, I heard you fine.
Okay. I had said if there were like a lot of practical effects in this version of it.
Yeah, like I was saying, I think the very first evolution of him was a man in suit. He's kind of rubber-like, and then as it went on, it was definitely more of a CGI effect, Godzilla, along with what I think was either a statue or just a man in suit that went very stiffly, because he very stiffly moved after that, and there's many points where he just stood still, especially after he breathes the atomic fire. He has to regenerate, and he literally doesn't like move for like 2 weeks unless he gets attacked. But yeah, there's a lot of weird things going on with this Godzilla. I mean, I don't want to give away spoilers, but he's got a lot more powers in this one that he's had in previous one. I mean, even when he breathes the fire, his whole jaw dislocates into like 2 parts, and then he's got like multiple jaws inside of him or something when he's about to breathe. It's real freaky.
So would you consider yourself like a kaiju fan?
Oh, yeah, I have every single Godzilla movie on DVD or Blu-ray. So, yeah, I'm a huge Godzilla fan. This is like Sonic first and then, like, Godzilla second. So where does this, specifically because this one kind of has more of a message to it, where does this one kind of stand in your personal pantheon? I'm not sure. I'd probably put it in my top 5. I thought it was actually a better movie than previous like 2012 American Godzilla. Although there is a bit less Godzilla in this one, but the human side of it was actually very well done, I thought. And there's a lot more messages here than just like about the Hiroshima or the the effects of the nuclear atomic fallout and what have you. There's a lot of important messages to this one, so it's definitely in my top 5. Probably near like Godzilla Final Wars, which is a complete opposite, very cheesy, very fun movie where Godzilla is fighting every single monster he's ever fought from the Heishi era to now. This big alien invasion. That's the one that one's the one you take the 12-year-olds to go see, because it's just like full of action and there's these like X-Men mutant characters and stuff. But for a serious this is probably the best out of the serious Godzilla movies.
Nice. I'm trying to see specifically if it's going to hit the Funimation streaming, but it looks like they're still more focused on getting it out in theaters right now.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be having it on like DVD or Blu-ray till at least January or February. But I find it interesting that Funimation, of all people, is the one publishing this instead of like Sony or some of the other people who've had the Godzilla franchise recently.
Okay, very neat. Godzilla extends his stay until Saturday, October 22nd in select theaters.
Yeah,
very nice.
Me and my brother, my sister-in-law, and my niece all saw it at a 10 p.m. showing. Now that I went and got tickets in advance, but because I thought it was like just a very short, run. I thought we'd might have a sold-out show, but we were the only people in there other than 4 other people. So we pretty much had the whole place to ourselves.
Tell me about some other monsters.
All right. Well, actually, that's for you. The other monsters being the yokai. I haven't played this one yet. Yokai Watch 2. There's 2 different versions out, I hear.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to tell me a little bit more about Skylanders.
Oh, well, I'll get to that after, I guess. Or unless you want me to get to this now.
Yeah, go for it, because I don't necessarily feel the need to talk about the games that I had discussed in our previous dead version of the podcast. I have a different game now. Okay, well, I just stopped currently playing Skylanders Imaginators. I think this is one of the best ones out of the series, to be honest. I am impressed, because you sounded a little bit down on it whenever I first heard from you.
What I was down on is the fact that there's microtransactions in a game that's completely focused around microtransactions to begin with.
Well, let's be fair, they're macrotransactions. You're not paying micro cost for the figures.
Well, no, that's macrotransactions for the figures, but in this case, so I guess I'll get the negative out of the way first. One of the things with this one is you can create your own Skylanders. You get these creation crystals that you can buy for either $10 each or a 3-pack for $25, and that's actually one of the areas you get the most joy out of, because you're creating your own Skylanders from all these different parts. You get to name them, put in their personalities, what they're like.
The stuff you've shown me so far looks pretty good. Like, it looks like the art design for you can get it. It's pretty varied depending on if you have like a character creator, like what kind of continuity of art design that you're going to have out of it. But
even the little glass crystal chambers look really cool in this. And I think actually I went out to I only bought the Crash Pack and 3 packs of creation crystals so far, because I don't have a lot of money and I don't get paid till tomorrow, which I'll probably then splurge on some more Skylanders. But I went out to Toys R Us and I looked at some of the designs of the characters, and this is probably one of the best in the series as far as character designs go. I mean, for one, you're getting all the villains from Trap Team as Skylanders now you can use, although they're called senseis in this one. They're kind of like the Skylanders Giants, so they're not really giant, but they're still $15 a pop.
They always are.
One of my favorites that I saw in the store I haven't picked up is Chopscotch, which I think we both talked about.
He's like
before.
I'm trying to describe him to me, because it's on the tip of my tongue. Like,
it's a she. It's a little.
she.
It's a little like Day of the Dead skull, a giant skull with tiny little arms and hands with a ponytail, and she carries around a giant axe that she knocks people over with and everything, and it's just the coolest little thing to see her, she's like skittering around.
I am trying to remember anything about this game that I don't.
Attacks,
it's just.
And there's a Halloween variant of her at Toys R Us as well. That's where her skull is orange with green eyes.
This is a game that I would absolutely love to get, but unfortunately it sounds like the Wii U version gets the short end of the stick this time, just based on loading and quality.
Well, yeah, but that you at least get Donkey Kong. I don't get to play as Donkey Kong on the PS4.
Oh, that's actually that's a really good argument. I forgot that I had Donkey Kong and Bowser.
Yeah,
I don't know. I might
that's
have
why
to
I
now.
went for Superchargers last year. It was Donkey Kong and Bowser, and then I completely forgot about them this year when I went for the Crash Edition. But then I couldn't wait because I've been dying for Crash to be in some game for the longest time. Okay, still haven't gotten on the negatives. I guess I'll just start with the positives first. This one has landed on a lot of the stuff I've been wishing for a while. The one being able to create your own Skylander from scratch. But I was wondering how they'd get around that to, be able to put it on a physical form, and I think these creation crystals are cool on that. 2 is being able to play as villains and characters from the game that are normally not Skylanders, like Chaos and Golden Queen. The one thing I love about Chaos is when he talks about his own name, it sounds like he's in trouble, like Chaos.
Yeah, that's Richard Horvitz for you.
Yeah, and of course my main thing is since the very first game when they had Spyro inside, I've been like, when the hell are they going to put Crash Bandicoot in this series? He has not been in a video game series in such a long time, and I'm real happy that they finally got him in this one. Him and Dr. Neo Cortex are senseis.
Yeah. Now all we need is Call of Duty Army person.
No, thank you.
And we get the full Activision, as we call it.
And another thing, like I said, half the fun is just creating the character. So I'm going to try to buy up as many of these creation crystals as I can to create more characters. The ones
How
I've
much
got
do
so
the crystals
far,
themselves go for?
Like I mentioned before, $10 each, or you can buy 3 packs for $25, or you go to Best Buy and get the Gamers Unlock Club and save 20% off of all those.
So they're a little bit more expensive than the traps.
I think $2 more than the traps. They're bigger than the traps, and I think they'll probably serve a purpose outside of that Trap Team game where nobody ever used the traps ever again. The good news is that if you've played Skylanders Superchargers last year and you still have your vehicles in that, there is the single player campaign, and then the all the tracks from Superchargers are available in a separate mode. Even the ones you've unlocked with trophies, if you didn't have the trophies, they're all unlocked now.
Okay, so basically they've included the main multiplayer.
Yeah, you get one of each vehicle to use, so it's got the kart multiplayer, it's got everything from Superchargers as far as the racers go.
Good on them.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of sucks that they didn't add anything new as far as the tracks go, but at least you're still able to use all your vehicles and tracks. Vehicles and characters from the first Superchargers onto this one.
Yeah, I know that they are the best at making sure all the old stuff works going forward, but...
Oh, yeah, I've had old trophies from the first game that should still at least give you some kind of reward in the next one.
Yeah, it's very admirable. It's something that really, especially for the sake of how different all the characters are and how they behave and how they play, the fact that they're willing to bring that all forward, it's impressive, and good on them for sticking to it.
Yeah, it's very much the forwards compatible, game series, which is what I really like about it. The hub world is much, much larger this time, which surprised me. There's actually Skylanders Academy is in its own hub, and then outside of that is a area called MAP, where you all the levels are connected to, but there's a lot of stuff going on around there. So the hub world is very, very huge this time. It seems, I don't know but it seems much more combat focused. It feels almost like a 3D fighter, like a Streets of Rage would be almost. There's a lot more focus on combat, it feels like. It's just very much more visceral while still having the platforming elements. So I really enjoy that. Now, I wanted to focus on the negative aspect, and I think this is although I still think this is possibly the best in the series, or very close to it. I think this is where it's starting to go downhill in terms of success. There's signs of that here. Not only the fact that there's the thing that gets you the character creation parts is called Imaginite, and you get a lot of that in the game. It's all over the place. But you could also buy packs of Imaginite for $5-10 in the store inside the game. So this is the first of the Skylanders, which is already having you buy all the parts separately to actually have microtransactions inside of that now. And not only that, if you don't want to do buy the treasure chests online, you could actually go to Toys R Us and buy little treasure chests that have 9 pieces in them for $5 a piece, which is nuts. So I don't really like the idea of microtransaction in a game that's already about macro transactions. They seem like they're trying to cut corners and save a little bit. They're using the voice cast from the new Netflix. It's much less focused on Flynn this time, which is too bad because Flynn was one of my favorite characters as far as comedic relief goes. It's mainly Spyro and Stealth Elf are the main characters this time around, which is kind of weird because you could also still play as Spyro and Stealth Elf from your old series. I'm noticing the plastic is a little cheaper on certain figures. Not on all of them. Some of them still have this durable soft feel, but then Crash Bandicoot here feels hard and hollow like a McDonald's toy.
I mean, you got some of that in Superchargers as well. Like, you could tell that they're trying to economize that a bit better.
Well, it's kind of understandable, especially like the portal is the same exact portal from what was the one, Swap Force. They just reused that old portal because they probably had a ton in the a ton in manufacturing that just reapply, and I'm okay with that. Totally reuse what you got if that's what you have to do to economize. But all in all, though, I mean, my main complaint is the microtransactions, but outside of that, it's still a really good game. It's still I think it's one of the best in the series so far. Very nice.
Speaking of a game that's not in the best of the series thus far, I've been playing Super Mario Color Splash. I've been playing quite a bit of it, actually.
I have not been a big fan of this Paper Mario series outside of Super Paper Mario on the GameCube. I've tried to get into them, and the last one, Sticker Star, I got like about 3 or 4 hours in, and then that was it for me. I just couldn't get into it.
Here's the thing, Jason.
What?
Very, very few people like Sticker Stars. Like, you're not in the minority in saying that Sticker Star is much reviled. So, like, the ones that people love are the original N64 Paper Mario and then Thousand Year Door on the GameCube. Those are the ones that people really, really want to come back and have the series just be like that.
Yeah, Paper Mario. And this... I don't know. I haven't really cared for him since the Super Paper Mario.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Color Splash is not an RPG. Like, it just isn't. You can't call it that, and any hopes that you have of it being an RPG, it just isn't. But what it is it's a very fun, extremely funny Paper Mario adventure game that also happens to have turn-based battles in it.
Oh, I just realized something very important. You'll have to give me a moment. I'm going to edit this part out. I just realized I've been talking to you without headphones on like an idiot. So this is going to echo.
I noticed that. I wasn't going to say anything, but by all means, go get headphones. So Shiggs, so Jason, let me tell you about Paper Mario Color Splash.
Alrighty.
So, have you played any of the ones that are just straight up RPGs?
Yeah.
The N64 and the GameCube ones?
I played Sticker Star.
Okay, Sticker Star, I don't qualify that as an RPG, really.
Okay, well, I played, last one I played that was an RPG was the N64 one.
Okay, good. Ignore that then, because this is not like that. It is, but it isn't. Actually, for better or worse, Color Splash is a bigger, better, less infuriating version of Sticker Star, is what Color Splash is. You kind of are having to accept that it is still based around a world map a la Super Mario World, where you're going around and selecting a world, but they've done a lot more to kind of flesh that out. In the original one, there just wasn't any dialogue. There wasn't anything going on in these levels, and occasionally you would come across a thing, a 3D object that you would be able to turn into a sticker. All that is still here, but they've done a much better job with the pacing for it. They've actually have a lot of stuff going on in the levels as you're going through. You're meeting characters, and unfortunately, all those characters are going to be Toads, and occasionally Koopalings. But generally speaking, they do a lot to kind of infuse personality to it.
Oh, said you were popping in and out of theirs for a sec. Keep going.
That's okay. You have been as well. But they've made a lot of funny characters that also happen to be Toads, and like this is an amazing job from Treehouse. Like, this is one of their best comedy translations for any Mario game, and like, I'm even putting it up there with the Mario and Luigi series.
Yeah, because that's a funny series.
It is very impressive. In the first couple worlds, I found a cafe that a bunch of Shy Guys have just completely turned upside down, and whenever you go back after you finish the level, you find that Toad isn't really happy with it. Then you go to the main hub world and find a Toad who's kind of depressed with all his business he's getting. So you have those two Toads trade so that the depressed Toad can get the depressing cafe. Basically, the whole premise of the game is there's a ton of incredibly creepy Shy Guys all over the place, with straws in the holes of their mask, who are just drinking color out of everything. People, the land, just all these very creepy Shy Guys that are just drinking color off of things. And your job is to find... Stop me if you've heard this. Your job is to find stars that will bring the color back. You're playing a game, aren't you? I can tell.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm listening to every word you say, but yeah, I can hear the clickety-clackety.
Yeah. So, basically, yes, your job is to go through, and you're traveling on sea routes, you're going into deserts and forests. There is a giant world. There is also a very small world. It's Sticker Star, but they've done a lot more creative with it. It's a much more impressive product, and each level, I'm excited to see what they do with each level, whereas with Sticker Star, the levels were fine. They just didn't have much going on with them. They weren't too interesting. The biggest downside, though, is that the battle system still pretty Sticker Star. Like, you don't really have that much motivation to participate in battles because there is no experience. There is no leveling up. The closest thing that you get to it is enemies will drop hammers when you defeat them, and when you pick up hammers and get enough of them, it lets your hammer hold more paint, and that's about it. And it gets more important. You're going to have to do them, but it does become a nuisance after a while. So if you want a really funny Mario game and you don't mind that the gameplay is kind of bleh, then I would definitely recommend Color Splash. It is an incredibly funny game with tons of personality, and it's just... I love it for that. But at the same time, I'm also in a parallel world where there are a ton of boos, and I'm just thinking, oh god, I really don't want to fight another boo. I don't know if I have enough cards for this thing. If I use up all the cards, am I going to have enough cards for the boss? And that's just the part where it falls apart. But everything surrounding it is just... it's just Nintendo perfection. So... but that's about it. I mean, I could talk about Yokai Watch, but I just haven't put the time into it. I'd love to talk again about Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice, but I'd also like to have some sleep tonight at some point. So
okay, so I guess we'll move on.
Now, I want to hear about your thing, though.
Okay, yeah. Just about 5 miles from when I live here is Pointy Hills Mall, where the main scene from Back to the Future where Doc and Marty first time traveled. They filmed that part there, but they have this arcade known as Round One. It's Japanese owned. It's huge. They got like 20 lanes of bowling, 9 rooms of karaoke, darts, pool, you name it. And the one thing they got is all the latest and greatest games straight out of Japan. I could play the latest like Hatsune Miku game where you have to insert cards or anything or stuff to save your game progress on it. Lots of different rhythm-based games and fighters, but they also got in 2 big games, very big tabletop games. Luigi's Mansion Arcade, which is in a sit-down like little darkroom thing, and Mario and Sonic at the 2016 Rio Olympics 4-player arcade machine as well. Which one do you want to hear first?
Let's go with Luigi first.
Okay, it's similar to like some of the horror shooter games that they have out in arcades where you sit in a little dark area, but of course it's a lot more family friendly. You pick up Luigi's Vacuum, and it's very similar to the GameCube game, only in first person, where you're going through the different levels of the mansion. You find a ghost, you shine a flashlight on him real quick, and then you hit the vacuum button to suck him in, and you have to physically pull back and forth like he's like they're fish to suck him up.
Like in the actual DS and GameCube games.
Yes, in fact it's very, very much like that. The whole game, except in first-person shooter mode, and you can even vacuum up the little areas to get extra coins and extra points for it.
So are we kind of talking? So this is like you said, it was a sit down, right?
It's a sit down it's a sit down gun zapper game, only in first person. That's kind of on rails, but it's taking you through the whole area from the very first game.
Okay, very very nice. Does it have like any of the major bosses too?
Yeah, actually it does. You have to have different strategies for different ghosts. Some of them you have to they're armored, and you have to wait until they at least make an attack, and then you can flash them with the light and zap them. Sometimes you're having to deal with a tough ghost as well as 2 or 3 other of the little green ghosts at the same time. So they can attack you while you're still trying to suck up the other one, unless you're able to flash and suck them all up at the same time. And yeah, by the time I got through the boss, though, I ended up dying. But I tried it 2 times. It was quite a bit of fun.
Excellent. Now, I am very curious about how they handled the Sonic or the Mario and Sonic Olympics, because when you think of the Olympics games, you kind of think of, well, they have all sorts of events, and if you have like a standardized controller, you can kind of get other things, but they also jam a lot of motion controls in. So how have they interpreted it for the arcade for this?
Well, for this one, you have a pad underneath you for your feet, along with handlebars to so you can hold yourself in place in case you don't fall over. And
dear God, I'm afraid. I am very afraid right now.
In front of you from there are 2 giant joysticks with a big button on each joystick. So some games, there's about 10 different events. You play 2 events for every time you play the game. You only get 2 events, but you're trying to get the best score possible. And it's on a very vertical screen. It just goes straight up and down. It does have a nice selection of characters, though. I mean, you got your from the Sonic side, you got Sonic, Eggman, Tails, but you also got like Blaze, Silver, Vector. I played as Vector and Eggman on 2 different occasions. And Sonic, you got the usual Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, and the others. But I think this is the first time like Blaze, Silver, or Vector have ever been in an arcade game. But some examples are like the long jump. You have to just run in place as fast as you can, and then when it's ready, you have to hit jump. And then when you're in midair to get an extra boost, you jump up in the air again, and then you'll go as far as you can for the long jump. For like, let me see. They have what's the bow and arrow one?
Archery.
Archery. Why the hell can I remember that word? Yeah, archery. You have to use the 2 joysticks to aim and then pull back on one joystick and then hit the fire button to let it go to hit the targets. It has kind of an automated lock-on thing, so it's not exactly very tough. The trickiest is the trampoline one I had to do, where you had to use both your feet and the 2 joysticks at the same time. So basically, you'd have to hit your jumps just in the right time, and while you're in midair, it gives you several directions, like up, left, down, because you're hitting both joysticks at the same time. So when you're in midair, you'd have to go up, down, left, right, do a whole bunch of tricks, and then as he's coming down, you have to jump again at the right possible moment to get him back up in the air. So that could be a little tricky. What was the other one? I did 4 events. I'm trying to think here. The other one was just hammer throw. Not use the 2 joysticks. You had to hold down the 2 buttons, swing both joysticks around and around and around until you got to a certain closed circle, and then you had to let him go just in time. But yeah, it's basically a few control gimmicks based on 10 levels from the main game. And if you got like 4 players, it could probably be quite a bit of fun and tiring. But it's nothing like to write home about, really.
Okay, it definitely sounds like a Japanese-designed arcade cabinet, at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to see a Sonic arcade game at the arcades. Actually, that's one of 2 Sonic games at that arcade, because there's also one called Sonic Blast Ball, which is a ticket giver.
Well, this also isn't the first Sonic Olympics games to hit the arcade either. It's just that I was surprised this one was Mario and Sonic Olympics, because that seems surprising to me that they would have shelled out for the license again for an arcade cabinet.
Yeah, I'm not sure who published it either, whether it was Sega or Nintendo.
I have to imagine it was probably Sega published, because I mean all the Olympics games I believe are Sega published.
Yeah, and most of the arcade stuff nowadays is Sega published. So Sega still does really good in the arcade. Speaking of, I thought I'd learned my lesson when I got my Chopper plush from the UFO catchers and spent like $60 just in UFO catcher money alone to get him. But apparently I didn't, because I came across...
Jason, eBay exists. You can buy things from eBay. It exists.
I know. They had a Donkey Kong that was just right teetering on the edge, ready to fall in. And so I spent about $20 to $25 trying to push him down, pick him up and drop him in, and every time he'd get really close to teetering in, he'd fall back to where he was before.
You see, that's where they get you. That's where they get you,
man. They got him teetering right on the edge. Yet there's something about him that they know he'll balance back towards the other side. He's just
Jason. This isn't Yakuza where you can catch like 2 eyes in one go or something. They specifically rig it so you can't.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had Velcro strapped to his ass, because I don't know why he would not fall over. But I fell for it again. I feel like an idiot for falling for it again. I should have just let it go, you know.
Yeah, well, I would say hopefully you've learned your lesson, but that's not what history has dictated thus far.
Yeah. Those who don't learn from this history are doomed to repeat it, and so am I, apparently.
Every so often, I get the hunger pang of, oh dear God, that claw machine has a Pac-Man in it. It has ghosts. I really want them. And then I spend $1 and realize, wait, this is stupid. The claw barely even grabbed it. Why am I bothering?
Oh yeah, American claw machines I will not touch at all. I mean, with those Japanese UFO catchers, at the very minimum, you have a chance because they always dangle. They always push a little bit further. This one just wouldn't go, and it drives me nuts because my niece can get them almost every time. She's really good at it. Anyway, we're going to go to what I'm calling the topic zone. I think we'll try to separate out our segments now with titles.
News
for the topic zone. Sonic 25th Anniversary Art Book has been announced for coming out of next year. Let me see if I can get some information on that real quick, if I can shrink everything wise.
Preparation!
Yes, preparation. Preparation H. Let me see.
Are you suggesting you're pulling this news out of your ass? Is that what you're suggesting?
Right. And why is it... Okay, so this information I got off Sonic Stadium, and as soon as I can get it to load up, I'll show it for you. Where is that? I'm going to have to go a little further.
So while you're doing that...
Basically, they got the money, I guess, together to make a huge Sonic art book, even though we just have the history of Sonic. Yeah, here we go. Sega and Cook and Becker will release a Sonic 25th Anniversary art book in early 2017. I'm not sure about the price. It looks like it's a really thick hardcover with a nice blue cover on it.
I mean, ultimately, it's still early and we don't know a whole lot about it, but it looks like it is going to be, here's a lot of the concept art of old Sonic games, here's some of the new stuff, here's some stuff from the asset Bible, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Just given those high-quality, print-quality images for just like a good coffee table type book.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's what it's going to be, similar to the History of Sonic book that came out.
Like, ultimately, the stuff I want to see are some of those real old in-development pencil drawings, like more stuff that we've seen along the lines of some of those original Sonic character drawings for Sonic 1 in pre-production.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting, and I have a feeling they'll be showing a lot of different concept art for that one. The other big news is Sonic Boom Season 2 starts this October 29th, Saturday, at 6 a.m. in the morning. Because apparently 7:30 wasn't early enough for Sonic Boom. Now it's at 6 a.m. to make sure it doesn't get any ratings this year.
I mean, history has not necessarily dictated that either. I mean, in spite of the bizarre nonsense time slot on American Cartoon Network, it's doing it. It's doing. People are watching it. Like, that game gets some talking peoples about things and stuff.
Yeah, you dropped out again for a second. What were you saying?
I didn't really say anything that important. I'm just saying, even in spite of that, people are watching the show. Like, yeah, it's getting around.
But 6 a.m. is pretty tough. I mean, I wonder if the ratings count DVR recordings.
I mean, ultimately, I'm sure at some point it also counts some of the online streams. I mean, they've got that agreement through Hulu. So I've actually got a story pertaining to Sonic Boom.
Yeah, but I don't know if Hulu will be playing the latest episodes or not, or if they just wait for the full season to wrap up and then they air it. Because that's what they did last year. That's what they do with Steven Universe.
So I actually have a bit of a story related to the Sonic Boom cartoon because, Jason, do you recall the biggest complaint that I've had time and time again, specifically pertaining to the cartoon?
What's that?
You don't recall, because I've been very vocal about this.
How early it is?
Nope. That you cannot purchase it freaking anywhere.
Yeah, that's the big problem. I mean, I'm glad it's finally on Hulu and streaming in HD, but oh my god, you can't purchase a single episode. The closest thing you can get is with Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, you get a DVD with 3 episodes, and that's about it.
So let me tell you a story. Are you sitting down for this?
Well, yeah, I've been sitting down this entire time.
It's metaphorical.
I know.
So, I have been on a quest not only to find a purchasable version of Sonic Boom that I can watch without having to stream it from the Cartoon Network website and not HD. I've also been trying time and time again to find a way to purchase the older seasons of purchase or watch the older seasons of Last Week Tonight, starring John Oliver on HBO. And HBO is a bit of a stickler on things because they really want you to sign up for HBO. So I took the free month of HBO Go and found out, no, we're only going to carry the ones up through a year back. So I was rather upset by that, and continued to do some Google searching on how I could legally obtain these. And I eventually found out a solution. You can buy the first 2 seasons of Last Week Tonight on UK's iTunes Store. Guess what else you can also buy from UK's iTunes Store?
Sonic Boom.
Sonic Boom. Sonic frickin' Boom. So any European listeners who have wondered, been very confused or curious about why I've been complaining about this, you have context. We don't have it purchasable in America. We just have it on our dumb subscription Hulu. You can't buy it anywhere else. So guess what I created an account of, Jason?
I imagine it's going to be a UK iTunes account.
I have purchased all the available volumes of Sonic Boom via UK iTunes because I can get it in HD purchased and watch it. I've also purchased the first 2 things of Last Week Tonight through there as well. Apparently you can get it through the US Google Play Store for some reason that escapes me because, I don't know, television networks are stupid and I hate them. But beyond that, you can actually get it. All you have to do is create a fake UK address, which you can do online, purchase UK gift cards online, and purchase it for whatever the UK value is. I think it's about £9 for 13 of the half-sized episodes, plus whatever markup that the import store gives you, plus whatever the exchange rate is currently. But god dang it, I have those episodes. You can't take that away from me now, because I have them downloaded legally in HD.
Well, you have the downloads legally, but is creating a YouTube account with a fake website legal? Or with a fake address?
I don't know, and they don't have my name, so who cares?
That's okay, I just thought I'd check.
They have my money, and I don't think they're going to be listening to this, so I think I'm safe. Plus, I have other safety guards that I'm not going to talk about on a podcast.
Okay. Anyway, what's the other one? Oh, well, we got an image from LEGO Dimensions showing, I guess, what's a cutscene from the Sonic level of the game with Big, Shadow, Tails,
LEGO Dimensions,
and Knuckles.
Right?
Yeah, so we got Lego, you got a little Lego Shadow and a Lego Big, and a Lego Tails and Knuckles. I'd love to see those in toy form, but I have a feeling that's never gonna happen.
Probably not. I am curious where Sonic still stands on the Connects agreement, because I know that was a thing for a while. I'm guessing it's over, but I'm certain that it's still going on with Mario.
Yeah, I have a strong feeling it's over with them. Yeah, it's definitely there with Connects, because as far as Mario goes, because my Walmart does still carry Connects Marios.
So, I actually watching some video of this stuff, I'm kind of impressed. Like, it looks like they are making, hey, we know what you like, so here's sort of side-scrolling LEGO Dimensions Green Hill Zone. Like, it's weird to see LEGO Dimensions go 2D side-scrolling, but I mean, God, they made it.
Yeah.
If you want to play as Gizmo of Gremlins fame, there's video online of doing that in LEGO Dimensions in Green Hill Zone. But yeah, I'm excited.
And he went out again.
I don't know what's going on. Yo, hello?
Yeah, you went out again.
That's weird. Dear God, I don't know what's going on with this. But hey, it's recording and we know that much.
Yeah, well, at least we got that. But for some reason, we can't seem to get on for very long. All right, let's hear. Before this whole thing breaks up apart, let's go ahead and get to the review zone. We'll be covering Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice, and we've talked about this before with Alex.
Insert Game of Thrones joke here.
Right, because it's Song of Ice and Fire.
Because everyone's made that joke, so I have to as well.
That was actually one of the titles of the episodes previous when we were talking about this game.
I realize that, but for posterity's sake.
No, I'm just making a note. Anyway, yeah, so I think I enjoyed this a little bit more than you did. We both have our issues with it. I mean, even as a fairly good Sonic Boom game, it's still an average platformer. But it is miles better, I think, than Shattered Crystal was.
I mean, it's kind of hard to disagree with that. It's, like, just to kind of lay out what this game is, it does definitely feel like a much more cleaned up version of a Shattered Crystal style game. It's visually, it looks like it, in terms of controls and everything, it still is sort of like it, but I mean, it's just an all-around better game.
Yeah, it's got a faster pace, it flows much better. You're not stuck with that map trying to figure out where this little item is and this little item is. Because last time they wanted you to explore and they kind of forced it on you because they knew how short the game was. And this time it's not. You want to explore, that's great. It's completely optional. And the things you're exploring for aren't really that spectacular. I mean, you get Amy's hammers and different designs, so that's like a cosmetic thing, or you're collecting springs for Styx, who has her own robot racer you can race with.
I mean, ultimately, like, the levels in this game are designed a lot like Sonic Rush levels.
Yeah, very much like Sonic Rush, but with a little hint of like Sonic Boom, where you're using the tether to swing. There's a lot of chaining you can do. It's fairly good for speed running. I do enjoy like the little spike to wall, the fire and ice elements of having to melt the floor to get under the spikes or freeze them to get over them and whatnot. I will say that the fire and ice elements themselves are very simplistic, in that
they are very, very simplistic. You tap the shoulder button. If you're fire, you go to ice. If you're ice, you go to fire. It's constantly on no matter what. And really, the only effect it has is there are water blocks, and if you're
melt
ice,
them or freeze them, and that's
they
it.
Turn to ice. Yeah, that's basically. It's basically you're determining the existence or non-existence of platforms.
Right.
Is basically what the fire and ice mechanic evolves to or devolves to, depending on your opinion. I mean, they do a lot of tricky things with it, like you're going to have to melt and then freeze to fall onto the correct platform, but it just doesn't get a lot more complex than that. Then manipulate this water.
Right. Exactly. It does address a lot of the complaints I had about Shattered Crystal. If you want to see my review on Sonic Stadium, I wrote the review on that one. And it like I said, the forced exploration is stopped. There's a much more speed to it. You're not having to pull back and launch the characters while the other side of the game loads. It's constantly going. Instead, you spring back and forth between the levels, adding a nice little 3D effect. It feels like it flows much faster and better, in my opinion. The stop and go from switching the characters is not near as bad at all. There's times where you might have to use like Tails or Sticks to unlock a gate, but then if you want to just stay as Tails and Sticks and keep going, it'll still be going at full speed. It's rare you'll have to stop again to change to anybody else.
Actually,
unless you're trying to find like a hidden area.
Yeah, most of the character switching is just relegated to finding the secret areas, like.
Right, there's a secret challenge room in every of one of the 2D levels, and those are actually the funnest part for me, I thought.
So, do you feel like there's there's a lot of point in having all the different characters in this. Like, in my opinion, they don't do a whole lot, and it's still kind of fun to be different characters, but you can play about 90% of this game as just staying as Sonic.
Yeah, pretty much. When they're fun to play as, like digging through the ground as Knuckles, which reminds me of the dig power from Sonic Colors. That he's kind of fun to play as. Sonic's fun to play as. Tails still can levitate. I'm not that big on, not to sound sexist, but I'm not that big on Styx and Amy in this game. Amy, all she does is hit her hammer once to knock down a pole. You go past that, and that's it. Styx is a pain in the butt with her boomerang, having to steer it around to hit switches. You don't have to do it that often, but it's still in there.
They have more contextual powers, and not to say Knuckles and Tails don't have contextual powers, but Knuckles, whenever you actually get to do the underground stuff, it is a bit more fun than doing the other two.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So really...
But on the plus side, though, I mean, you could take it as a positive or a negative, but most of the characters are pretty similar. Like I said, you could play most of the games as Sonic.
Which, if you're going to have a Sonic game with multiple characters, it's kind of what you want to do. Just to satisfy the fan base that maybe wants to play as Amy or Tails or Knuckles.
Or even in this case, just satisfy its target audience, kids. Like,
right. Plus,
even
these
more
are the
than
five main characters from the cartoon. You want the kids to be able to play as those characters whenever they want.
Yeah.
Even if they don't add much to the game. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So, one of the big sticking points that happened in the Lost podcast was that the game kind of has issues graphically, we'll say. It is not necessarily a pretty game.
I don't think it looks that bad.
It doesn't.
I do like that the cutscenes, while the character models don't look all that great in the cutscenes, they have voice acting for every single scene. Even in moments on the map that you'll never hear again, there's voice acting throughout.
I think it looks as good as SNES era. If SNES era Donkey Kong Country was actually polygonal instead of just pretending to be polygonal, I kind of think it looks as good or as bad as that. Take that as you will.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far. I think it'd be like at least PS1 era graphics as far as... And I'm just talking about close up on the character models. Because mainly you're playing this game from a distance as far as the character models go. I think it's still an okay-looking game.
It is. It is lacking in variety graphically, though.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this before. Everything's a jungle or forest level in some kind of... With the exception of the first world, which is an ice world, and then I think the end is a lava world. Everything else is either a forest or a jungle. Primarily a jungle.
Let's go through. There's ice forest. Then there's jungle. Then there's prehistoric jungle or primordial jungle. Then for some reason there's pirate jungle. And I finally made it a little bit farther past. I've made it to spooky forest. And actually probably the graphically nicest stage in the game that I will give them full credit for. Once you get to the castle stage, the castle stage is actually really nice looking. I was actually impressed with the graphical design of that place. It looks aesthetically nice for a kind of nice change of pace.
Yeah, another thing I like is that the bonus levels that they include in this game are pretty much all optional. There's very rare chance where you have to play them, but playing them, of course, gives you extra items and Ragnarok. And is that the right name?
I will.
I think Ragnarok's the end of the world for Asgard. If I remember saying. It's Ragnamite or something like that. Ragniite. Ragniite?
The green rocks.
Yeah, the green rocks that you have to collect to either unlock more bots for the multiplayer or unlock the concept art from Sonic Boom and Sonic Boom Season 2, which is what I'm primarily using it for. I don't really care about the multiplayer. But although if you go back to an area where Eggman forced you to race, you can then play as any of the robots and race against the other robots that way. So it's kind of stupid that they have that blimp, but the blimp area is only for multiplayer. They don't just collect all the racing levels into that single player area. I mean, to that multiplayer area as a single player. Instead, you got to go to each world and find that race to race in again. If you want to do it single player, it's kind of annoying.
I'm going to say that I will fully admit I have not beat this game yet. And the reason why is because I am at the last world today. And I'm in the first race of that world. And there is a jump I have no frickin' idea how I'm supposed to get up. That I consider that a big issue right now. It's one of the race stages, and the computer just lapped me because I am completely unsure how to approach this.
Oh, that happens sometimes where, there was one area where I could not dash high enough with Sonic to get through. And I had to keep working at it, and I had to find some trick to it just to get it to work. Is that where you're stuck?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's the first race in the last world.
Yeah!
There's an ice platform that you have to do kind of your triple jump ability thing to get to, but you have to do it perfectly, and they even show the computer having trouble with it, and it's weird.
Yeah,
it's very weird.
I think that's one area where the level designer programming just really screwed up there. And the problem is those races are not optional like the rest of the rest of the bonus games are. And that took me forever to get through that area because I was like, what am I doing wrong? And what it is they just didn't program the level quite right, and so I usually have to run and jump off the ledge. Try to do as high time the triple jump just right, and then do the dash to freeze that platform. And it was tricky. I finally got it done, but man, I had a real tough time with that one.
And they expect you to do it on a timer against an opponent.
Right. An AI opponent who that's got a lot of rubber banding, I think.
Oh yes. But I mean, like, all in all, I would say it's a fine game. Like, it is a perfectly fine game, and heck, it's a platformer in a part of the year where we just aren't getting them. Like, there was a time where you could probably rely on Nintendo to be releasing 5 platformers all on the same day for some reason.
I think the biggest compliment I can give it is that it's an average platformer, but an above-average Sonic game from the last 5 years.
I mean, it's certainly the best Sonic Boom game. It's
that for sure. But I mean,
almost nobody's going to hear that and say, "Oh boy, the best Sonic Boom game." Like, we all know the context for what that means. But
yeah. And I still like it better than Lost World on 3DS, which I found very horrible. After the first world or two, it just, for some reason, that game just fell apart for me.
Like, I would say, even devoid of removing it from the context of Sonic, I would say it is an absolutely fine licensed game. If you want a game based off of the Sonic Boom license, and you've kind of held off because of the reviews of the other ones, that this is probably the okay one. It honestly probably is not great for the $40 price tag, but if you see a good sale on it, then go for it. Like, this is a great $20 game.
Yeah, it's a great $20 game. I was about to make the same point. It is not a good $40 game, because if you're going to play this thing straight through, you're going to be done in like 3 hours, tops.
Yeah.
But if you go to look for our more of the Ragniite and for all the different Ragnium, that's it, Ragnium. You're gonna find a lot more enjoyment out of the game trying to go for all the secrets, trying to 100% it, or trying to unlock all the robots and the concept art. Then you might get some more of your money value out of it. Otherwise, if you're playing it straight through, you got like a 3-hour experience of a okay platformer.
Yep, I mean, like, it's immediately playable, which is probably one of the best things that you could probably say about it. Like, it has okay level design. I'm not going to give it big props, but hey, it gets the job done.
But definitely better than Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2, I thought. I think the gameplay itself is actually really enjoyable. I just wish it was longer. The 2D gameplay, that is.
I mean, for me, it's good, but it's good in the same way that the original Shattered Crystals was good, in that it's a game built upon chaining different behaviors. It's a game built upon throwing you over a giant pit of spikes, and from that point you have to homing attack, and then do a dash, and then use your thing, and then land on a grind rail, and then jump from that grind rail, and then switch from one thing to the other, and then you get to the other side of that spike wall, and that's kind of it. And I mean, it is a type of design. It's certainly not the most creative type of design, but
it has a bit of a Dimps feel to it, but not like Sonic 4 Dimps, like Sonic Rush, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. But it is a type of gameplay, and if you can deal with that type of gameplay and you find enjoyment in it, if you liked Shattered Crystals in any minute way, then this is definitely going to be a game for you.
Right, and if you didn't enjoy Shattered Crystals, I'd say give this at least a rental or wait till it comes out cheaper, because, like I said before, it does address pretty much every fault I had with the first game. And it's even though it's using the same engine and the same basic gameplay, it addresses a lot of the problems I had before. So I definitely would at least give it a shot if you're a Sonic fan.
It's a hesitant recommendation.
Right, but just wait till it goes like the $30 or $20, because $40 is a bit of a ripoff for the content you're getting, unless you wanted 3 episodes of Sonic Boom on DVD along with it.
Also, if you want 3 episodes of Sonic Boom in HD, then just get a British iTunes account.
Or
it's just that easy and that hard.
Or subscribe to Hulu, where you not only get Sonic Boom in Blu-ray quality HD, but you can also get both the 4Kids dub of Sonic X and the Japanese subtitle dub of Sonic X as well, with uncut scenes.
Which is the exact reason to not get Hulu.
Well, it depends on your love of Sonic X or not. I think a lot of what's wrong with Sonic X is the American dubbing, except for the 3rd season where it suddenly turned into Star Trek starring Tails as the captain.
I mean, my opinion on that is a lot of the things that's wrong with Sonic X is the entire premise of it.
And Chris Thorndike.
Yeah, hey, if you remove real Earth, then you got an okay show there, probably. Just I don't want my bland child people in my Sonic cartoon.
Right.
I don't need the everyman. He does not help in my cartoon about anthropomorphic animals who run fast.
How the hell is Chris an everyman or an every child when he's father and mother are billionaires?
Okay,
and their grandfather's a
Jason,
scientist. He's so spoiled, yet he's supposed to be this poor, lonely kid.
Jason, I apologize in advance. I did not want this to become a thing, but let's not make it a thing. Let's not give that show the benefit of it becoming a thing.
Right. I think we better wrap this up. Plus, your audio has been coming in off and on for like the entire show.
As
has yours. You haven't heard me saying I couldn't hear you a few times. Like now.
So yeah, I
like
think
I
what Jason meant to say is that we're gonna try to wrap it up.
Oh God,
for the
I hope
evening.
this all comes out.
Once his audio comes back, I don't know why this is causing issue,
Hello?
but it seems to be. So hey, if you want to keep up with my various things, I don't know. I have a Twitter feed. I barely post on it. It's at the Spin Dash. Beyond that, I'm sure Jason can probably tell you some things about...
Can you hear me now?
About some stuff and things about... And he just dropped out. Let's add him back. Hi.
Hello. Now we completely dropped out, huh?
Apparently that was a thing that happened. So Jason, tell us about where people can find you doing things.
They can find me occasionally on sonicstadium.org, where I post both this show and I do some articles from time to time. And you can find GX at nevershutup.com, correct?
Kind of, sorta. I mean, it's been quiet lately because I've been working. I guess the best phrase to use this is I've been working balls to the wall, I think is a fair assessment. How about we put together, and since this is recorded, now people will hear it, how about we put together a plan, because I have a 3-day weekend, so let's get together and get this show on iTunes with an RSS feed. How's that sound?
I'd like to do that. Let's try to figure out how to do that, or I'll try to figure out how to do that.
You heard it
or
here,
I'll
folks.
just leave it all up to you.
Or we'll just leave it up to me, and I'll be a fool about it. But yes, we're going to try to get that done and hopefully get that to you people on the internet so you can subscribe and do all the other things, like rate us on iTunes and get stuff from that one place that advertises with everywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
get yourself a Lisa mattress and give us money or something. I don't know. What do people do on the internet with podcasts anymore?
I don't know. Anyway, in fact, my old iPod, I accidentally dropped and it cracked and a little shattered, so I ended up getting a new one. I only use that just to record the podcast I like to subscribe to. I have a Galaxy J5 I could do that on, but there's what is the name of that? Not Spotify, but Stitcher doesn't have all the podcasts that I like to listen to. So I ended up just having a iPod just for podcasts like this.
Jason, I can promise iTunes and nothing else.
But, right.
But I'm telling you, Jason, we really need to get in on that sweet, sweet Blue Apron money. We got to get in on it.
Right. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for us. I have to go get groceries right now because it's getting kind of late.
And I've got to go to bed because it's getting kind of late.
All right. And thanks for joining us, everyone. And we'll see you next time.
Peace out, yo.
Bye-bye.